What's good, everybody? Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Hope all is well with everyone. Midweek game day almost here. Got a lot to talk about on the field, and also recruiting is still going crazy. So we're going to touch on that again as well. Do me a favor, hit that like button, that little thumbs up, hit that for me. If you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. We are getting very, very close to our next goal of 37,000 subscribers, and you could be the next one to get us over the top. So we appreciate that. Also, we're going to be talking about some good information from the Helping Tech about the game plan going forward for the defense, not just for the UCLA game, but just in general. Very exciting stuff and stuff that makes sense as well. Also, do me a favor when you send your super chats. Remember, helps to go towards the pay it forward, which is our military, our first responders, and also, Veterans Day week, all of that stuff. Shout out to all our veterans here in the chat, watching the show, and our families. We appreciate you, your service, everything you do for this great country. So without further ado, let's bring in the good brother, Funky Buck. What's up, sir?
What's up, B Moses? I'm feeling good, feeling like a national champ per usual, and it's good to be
Yeah.
here with you and the whole Scoop family, filling in for Nevada. It's coming home. Congrats to his daughter for committing to officially signing with Penn State today. So kudos to her and kudos to Nevada Buck. And so he'll be back on the show like normal Thursday or Friday, but good to be here with you covering them for today.
Yeah, and for those who are new to the show, before I was on here with Nevada, me and Funky, we rocked for a whole year on a
Oh
show
yeah.
on Sunday, every Sunday, 6 or 7 p.m., depending. So yeah, this is throwback for me and Funky, and it's great to do every now and then, man, because we had a great run and a great time. But yep, so Nevada is definitely still traveling, and so yeah, we're gonna talk about this Buckeye team and this defense. And I kind of wanted to just let you respond to Helping Tech and what he posted, and then I can dive in. But I was very excited. It was like a confirmation to me of what we were already thinking. And I kind of set the table. It's funny because every analyst, every person, every media type, it's one of those rare things where everybody's on the same page. Everybody knew it was a scrimmage. Like everybody was saying, yeah, this is kind of a scrimmage. Like it's wild, Funky, that mid-season we are able to actually have a off-site scrimmage, an on-the-road scrimmage to work on things and to try things out. That's just amazing. And some people might say, well, why would you? Because we can, right, Funk?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it's just on the road versus a Big Ten team. I mean, the same Big Ten team that gave Michigan hell in Ann Arbor
Yeah.
just last week. I mean, it's a very interesting thing to do, but Ohio State felt confident they could do it. I mean, starting literally drive one, putting Riley Pettijohn in there,
Yeah.
really, really giving him I mean, some early first team reps as a freshman. I mean, Riley was a borderline 5-star. I think he was a 5-star at one point during the cycle, but borderline 5-star, high 4-star type kid out of Texas was definitely super high on our priority list. Um, Seemingly is coming into his own and is going to have a huge role next year. And this was really Ryan Day giving him his props for his special teams performance all year. And when we put him in, I remember versus Ohio, I'm pretty sure he was defensive player of the game versus Ohio
He
U,
was. Yeah.
right? Because he looked very good out there. Or is either that or Grambling. It was Ohio U or Grambling. It was one of those early games, and he
It was
looked.
Grambling.
It was Grambling,
Yeah.
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 He looked real good, really fast, really twitchy, and he got his opportunities to play versus, I mean, a legit team, an FBS team, a Big Ten team on the road. So very interesting stuff from the defense there, but it's good to see because those reps are going to be very meaningful for 2026 and beyond when we have to replace Arvell Reese and Styles, which are, I mean, 2 first-round draft picks at linebacker. So we're going to need to find 2 people who could fill those roles so it's not just a total liability next year, or not even a liability, but just a gigantic
Yeah.
drop off. And Riley Pettijohn is clearly one of those 2 roles.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, it was Grambling. He made some plays against Ohio, but Grambling it was the game where he body slammed the kid. He
Yeah,
I think he almost had a pick or
he had a fumble for sure.
that's right, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just killing. So he's still raw out there. He has to find his bearings. He's a young dude. He's a freshman. But the fact that we're able to put him out there and say, okay, let's move Arvell Reese out of his normal attack role and see what you can do, and give it a whirl, not only for next year, but even maybe this year, just to see if we can get pressure without Arvell Reese doing what he does is just incredible. Also, in the helping tech nugget, he was talking about how his NFL guys were asking about number 15, and that's Zion Grady. And he's been popping all year. He has been flashing and popping all year. Again, and I'll let you speak on this, Funky, but he's another one of those kids where he was kind of poo-pooed because he was just a 4-star. He wasn't the splashy 5-star guy that Larry Johnson was able to bag, but he's been playing well. And so I thought that was interesting as well because the NFL scouts are basically saying, hey, why isn't he playing more? But he's coming on. And if Bo Atkinson is not as productive, then Grady might see more impact down the stretch in the rotation. And I thought that was a significant part of the nugget as well, Funky.
Yeah, totally. And the fact that they were calling out, they're like, who's number 15? Well, why is he not playing more? And I mean, that's another true freshman in Zion Grady. I remember seeing a top 10 commits from Alabama from the last year's class. And 9 out of the 10 top 10 commits committed to Auburn, and 1 out of the 10 committed to Ohio State. So 9 went to Auburn, and one went to Ohio State. His name is Zion Grady. And I mean, he's also one of the guys that's looking to make a really big impact for years to come, because we could pretty much assume we're losing Caden Curry this year unless some NCAA rules change, giving him an extra year of eligibility. But we can softly assume that Zion Grady's going to get those snaps next year as a true sophomore or redshirt sophomore or whatever the heck his eligibility is, as a second-year player at Ohio State. And I mean, he's got to be ready, because I mean, we know that the expectations next year, no matter what happens this year, aren't going to change, aren't going to be lowered for next year. Next year, if the expectations are anything besides national championship or bust, those are the expectations. It's going to be natty or bust. As much as we don't like that, as much as we could disagree with that, that's the expectation set by the majority of the fan base, and the expectation Ryan Day is going to hold everyone to, even if we win the natty this year. They're not going to accept anything else less than a natty in 2026 and a three-peat for the. So, I mean, it's a funny thing to think about, and obviously we still have to get it done this year, and we still have a long, long, long way to go. But that doesn't even matter what we do next year. That's still the expectation for the team. So Zion knows that, Ryan Day knows that, and you could really see it in how we're using this year, because we're really rotating everyone this year. We're giving a lot of offensive linemen a chance. Gabe Van Sinkle got his opportunities to play. I mean, Josh Padilla has been getting in there. We're saving Ethan O's eligibility, it seems like, and we still have 5 guys that are starting right now that all have eligibility left for next year. So it's been really interesting to see how Ryan Day's been able to handle that. And also the tight end room. I mean, you still see Jelani Thurman in there. You still see Bennett Christian out there. And then obviously you still see the main 2 in Max Clare and Will Kazmarek out there. So it's just very interesting to see all these rotations that we're doing. And I mean, and 4 running backs. I don't remember last time Ohio State's been consistently playing 4 running backs at the same time.
Me either.
Yeah. So it's just very interesting to see how we've been handling this season in general. And as we all know, there's 16 games that we're planning on playing. So that's a lot long. That's even longer than last year. Wait, no, the same as last year. Yeah, the same as last year is the goal.
Yeah, and there's only one other coach who knows this gauntlet, and that's Marcus Freeman, as far as the length of the gauntlet, going as far as the actual championship game. And so Day knows that he's going to need depth. He just never know what's going to happen. Last year, we lost a ton of guys on the offensive line, key injuries. And so we've been trying to rotate, trying to get that right guard position solidified, but also just trying to find to make sure guys are ready to go. Like Josh Padilla was coming on before he got a little dinged and was kind of probably going to overtake Tegra. Now, I'll stop there. What are you, because we haven't had a chance to talk about this. What are your thoughts on the right guard position and the O line? Because that's probably the biggest concern for a lot of fans. I'm not as concerned because even against Purdue, I thought the run game was fine. It was solid at times. That 75-yard run shouldn't have been called back, bro. That was terrible.
Yeah,
But anyway,
that was a weird. I mean, JJ Smith. I mean, did he block him in the back? Sure, but I've seen wide receivers do that same block a million times, and even I mean, whatever. It's whatever. You can always expect us to get the not the benefit of the doubt, especially versus Purdue.
right.
And then that was shown that game. I feel like the refs made a few questionable calls, especially on that final drive on the DPI on Devin Sanchez and the phantom roughing the passer on Bo Atkinson. So there's a few questionable calls, definitely, but it doesn't matter. It's Purdue. And for the right guard, I mean, it's just hard to say because Tigro's been awfully healthy for this year. You know, he's been awfully healthy, and you kind of have to the best ability is availability, and Tigro's been available. You know, he's been there, he's been available. So it's very it's just an interesting topic, definitely to have. And I think that Josh Padilla has definitely earned his right to have more reps, but you can't be banged up. You just can't be. It's just really hard to get consistent with your whole offensive line if you're injured. So got to hope that he stays healthy and he can earn his job back, because right now, at first, my thought would be you got to get Josh Padilla in there. But seeing, Josh Padilla get down, be banged up, I would be kind of surprised if Tigro didn't continue with, his job for the rest of the year, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's the inconsistencies. It's like
Yep.
he'll be fine, but then you look at a replay like, man, why that play break down? And then you see 77 looking goofy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, and others see it. So again, with Padilla, with him coming back, I'm hoping he can either take that spot and solidify it or push Tegra so that he finally has the consistency. And I don't know if it's a mental thing with Tegra, if he's just overthinking it. You know what I'm saying? Like he's out there and he's like, oh, let me not mess up. And then he messes up. Like even on that play, that screen pass to Peoples, it's like he's just lost in space. Like, dude, shift to the left. Just the safety's right there. Just get in front of him. Even if you can't pancake him, just step in front of him. You know what I'm saying? So, either way, we got UCLA, we got Rutgers, and then we got the team up north. And so we still got these two games to work things out as far as firing on all cylinders like we want to. Again, and Nevada has said this before, like we don't have to have a dominant run game to win the national title, but we want to have a dominant run game or at least a more consistent run game. And so with this UCLA game, I'm very curious to see if we'll continue with the split zone, diamond package type stuff. Are we going to run more counter stuff, which I saw work pretty decently against Purdue, or not? But that's kind of my question, because even in the Helping Tech Nugget, he talks about, some not overhaul, but some changes schematically going forward from the offensive standpoint, his offensive nugget, I should say, from the other day. So very curious about that, man. Now I'm gonna ask you. I think it's a 31-point spread. Where are you at with that? Do we cover, Funky?
30. I mean, it's 31 points. I thought that was a really good line because I could see that being like very, very close. I mean, that's a ton of points. That's a ridiculous amount of points.
Same line. Hold on.
Yeah, no, it I'm pretty sure it is 31 and a half is what I remember seeing. I remember looking at. But that's just a ton of points. So I really would have a rough time picking. And trust me, usually I would have no issue giving my take versus the spread. But 31 points just seems like a lot, and seems like it depends what Ryan Day wants to do.
Yeah.
Depends if you want. My gut would say Ohio State probably still covers because we're just that good and UCLA is that bad. And I'm just going to trust that Ryan Day is going to want to, extend the clip to pad some stats for Julian and JJ still, and not do too conservative a game plan. And maybe he's trying to rile up the troops before the Michigan game. And so that'd be my gut feeling, because I feel like we can name the score for this versus this team. They're that bad. But you know, 31's a ton of points. The Grambling spread was like 40. So
Yeah.
I mean, they're saying like UCLA is only like single digit point favorites versus Grambling. Like that's what they're saying really. And it just, I mean, obviously not totally what they're saying, but in a little bit what they're saying. And it's a ridiculous amount of points. So that if we can cover that, then what the heck? But we had our first non our first non-cover last week. We're like 12-1-1 in the last like 14 games, or sorry, 11-1-1 in the last 13 games. Yes, so that's pretty crazy. That was a pretty crazy run we're going on, and definitely made, a lot of fans probably made a ton of money. But maybe that's why the fans are so uptight this week, because they finally lost a bet on Ohio State since that game last November. It was almost a year where Ohio State didn't cover the spread. So pretty crazy thing.
Yeah, so as of now, I don't think we cover, but I'm going to have my final determination on Friday because it's a night game. I think we want to tighten things up on defense. I think the defense is fired up, and so I think it's possible. But speaking of the defense, I wanted to show this clip. The analysts are starting to really shout out Sonny Styles. And you look at this clip, unselfishly, he's taken on I believe is that the guard pulling. Boom,
I think
look
so.
at that. Makes the way for his guys to make the play. Unselfish. I mean, this is just freaky. So
that was the tackle, B.
Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I just wanted to show that real quick because Sonny Styles deserves some love. He deserves some love for sure. But
he's been getting mocked in the first round, B. He's been getting mocked in the first round, and I've been seeing, like, obviously mock drafts are, like, I really don't try to give too much into them, but it is really cool to see it in a ton of mock drafts, a ton of different analysts, a ton of different. I haven't talked to my scouting friend in a second, not in a month and a half at this point, but looking at all these other mock drafts, you see Arvell Reese mocked as like the number one overall pick, the number one non-quarterback taken in the entire draft. Then you have Caleb Downs, you have Carnell Tate, then you have Styles, then you have Katie McDonald. You really see 5 first-round picks for Ohio State possible this year, which is just insane. Just absolutely insane. And then you see David, Iggy always mocked in the second round usually. So that's like a solid 6 players taken in the first 2 rounds after what we had last year. And what I laugh about is where I was joking around with my friend about it. I was like, we have like 5 projected first round picks this year. We'll probably end up with 4. That's like the estimate that whatever I would give. And then I was like, and Julian and JJ would also be the number 1 and number 2 picks in the entire draft. So, I mean, they seriously would. So really got a team this year with, unironically, okay, I don't want to say it, but, the numbers between 5 and 8 first round draft picks on this year's team. So it's pretty insane.
Yeah, it is. It is. But, we lost 14 guys. Most people thought we were done. 3 or 4 losses this year. And it's just remarkable what this team is doing. So
it is remarkable. I think did you see this coming? I don't think anyone saw this coming.
No, I knew we would be good. and would compete for a Big Ten title, be in the playoffs, but not this, bro. This
Yeah,
is
this
this, yeah, this is next level. I was not expecting this. I expected Arvell to be like, man, he's gonna be good. Like, you saw him flash last year,
mhm,
but not this good. I mean,
yeah,
excuse
it's
me.
freaky.
This is now he's talking about possibly the first bucker off the board. Excuse me, or top 5, top 10. Like, come on. I certainly did not see that. And then not only that, I knew Matt Patricia will be good, but I can't even because I was a big Matt Patricia. Hey, like you're an idiot if you think this is a bad hire guy. But I didn't even know. I mean, I wasn't expecting this high of a level. Like I was expecting by playoffs, things will be ramping up. But we came out the gate elite.
Yeah,
So
the
I can't
defense
say I
too.
expected that.
Like I did not expect the defense to be this elite. Like that, and that's the most shocking thing to me. And we replaced like 9 defensive starters and the defensive coordinator. So I was like
Yeah.
definitely expecting some hiccups, some really bad games, some games where it's like, what the heck? How do we give up 27 points to that team? They're horrible, you know.
Yeah.
Just but those just happen. I mean that happened throughout the. I mean, it just happens. You don't. This doesn't mean it's a bad defense if they have those games, but this is an elite defense, like extremely, extremely elite defense, and
Yeah.
I mean, one of the best defenses I've ever seen in college football. Period. We don't go farther than that in college football in my entire lifetime. It's one of the best defenses I literally have ever seen, and that just was so out of the picture for me. I would have never predicted this in a million years. I thought at best we'd be having an outside chance at a national title this year. It'd be like we'd be, a top 4 team who makes it to the semifinals, but right when you get to the semifinals, it's a total utter coin flip. It's like we can do it, but we're gonna have a lot of things break our way and a lot of good fortunate things happen and probably get a little lucky. But now I'm looking at it and I'm like, we would need a lot of things to not go our way for us to win the national title.
Yeah.
And that's just the fact because there's not many teams in the nation that I feel like could beat us in a neutral field. Or no, I don't. I mean, there's like very few. I think Texas A&M and I think Texas A&M and Indiana are definitely the next 2 best teams in the nation, unironically. But Bama and Georgia look wholly mid this year, not good at all. I mean, Notre Dame doesn't impress me still, and it's just like I don't know. It's like I really, really am going into this next 3 games of the regular season, and then whatever is after this, thinking the games we could blow out every team for the rest of the way, and that would not shock me. It
Yeah.
just wouldn't, and that's really scary to say. And I'm gonna where this can be clipped and posted if we whatever somehow choke in the first round or whatever the heck happens. But it is literally insane what Ryan Day has created here at Ohio State, and it comes down to how he's been able to handle the portal, how he's been handle high school development, the strength staff. It's a kudos to the entire Ohio State staff for not letting any of this ruin what we have going for us.
Yeah, and I don't even know if I'll buy Texas A&M. By the way, they played Texas at Texas on Black Friday, 7:30 p.m. So that's huge
That's gonna be a
because
banger. That's gonna
we
be
we get to
crazy.
we get to watch that game the night before the game, full of turkey with the family, and really because to me, I think Texas, the fact that they're number 10 right now is so funny because the haters have tried to poo-poo on that win so much, and it's at Texas. And Texas A&M, yes, they're a good team, but I'm not sold on them. I'm just not. And I would not be surprised if Texas pulls it off, man. And so that's something to look out for, a programming alert. Big game I look forward to watching. Also, real quick, I wanted you to touch on some recruiting stuff before Superchats starting to come in. I wanted you to touch on some recruiting stuff, but another thing before the season about the defense, and look at me, I'm still hitting this CarMax. Let me put this down. Use my finger. The other thing is that people really said, "Oh, well, your D line is going to be weak." So Patricia, might be good, and Caleb Downs is good, but your D line. What we've been doing on the D line, thank you, Larry Johnson, and Patricia and his schemes, has been amazing. Of course, McDonald is a monster, but Tyrone Malone, of course, guys like Will Smith Jr. stepping up. Grady, we mentioned earlier. I mean, just our Edric Houston is now starting to come on. He has some early issues, but he's coming on. Kenyatta has been really good. We all know Caden Curry's been balling. This defense has just been a revelation. We knew they would be good or better than what other people thought, but not this good. And so I just wanted you to kind of touch on that, Funky, on the D-line, because we all kind of, before the season, we heard these things, and we even had questions about depth and who would step up, but we were never doubters of the possibility of that, because some people just wrote Tyrone Malone off, or they wrote guys off. But now you see this D-line is legit and real. And so wanted to get your thoughts on that, brother.
Yeah, I mean, we thought people were kind of writing Caden Curry off too, and Caden Curry has played himself into the NFL 100%. I mean, he'll be a draft pick. No, absolutely no doubt about that. And then you look at the other end, people had really, really, really high expectations for Keanu Jackson, and he's been good. He's been good. I think if you told people how he was performing and how Edric Houston was performing, I think people would be very scared for this defense. But there's nothing to be really scared about. I mean, Kenyatta Jackson's been fine. He's been solid. I think he comes back to Ohio State and really has a really big year next year. But he's been good this year. He would definitely, be considered a NFL draft pick this year if he decided to go to the draft. And he would definitely, be at least at the very, very, very worst a priority undrafted free agent in the NFL. I think he'd be drafted though. But he's a legit player this year. And then Edric Houston has up until this point, a very disappointing year. But it seems like he's turning a corner. And he's getting fired up and he's getting ready to play really good ball again. And if you would have told people that at the beginning of the year, people would have been very nervous for the Buckeyes season this year, even more nervous than they were. And I think we probably would have been a little more nervous if we knew, those two facts going into this season. But like you said, guys like Tyrone Malone, Will Smith Jr. have really been stepping up and playing really good ball. And Caden McDonald has been playing just ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, he could be a first round pick. Willie, who knows? He could be though. He could be, and that's all you can really ask for from a big nose guard defensive tackle. So, the defensive line's been solid, and I really like what we're doing recruiting wise for 2026, getting our 4 defensive tackles. As Day said at his press conference on Tuesday, that he was really wanting to get a 4th defensive tackle in this class because of the fact that they're probably going to be playing in the national championship, and they're probably going to lose guys in the portal while everyone else gains guys. So we want to make sure the roster has enough people on it for 2026 and above, because we're gonna be in a bad situation, or quote, I'm using air quotes right now, a bad situation where we're playing in a national championship while other teams are hitting the portal and trying to get better for next year. And that is a little bit of a sticky situation, and just another absolute, complete, utter failure by the NCAA for the millionth time in the last calendar year. So, just the portal rules don't make any sense. We need 2 portal rules. We can't have a portal close while some teams are still playing their season. It makes no sense. But besides the point, Day knows this, and he knows that we're going to be competing for a national title, and is adjusting. You could bet on Ohio State's odds to make the national title today. What do you think those odds are? I know the odds, but I'm curious what you think they are.
I have no idea. Please tell me.
-130. There's a 60% probability about that we play in the national title this year. That is insane. No, that's literally I can't even explain in words how crazy that is. The next closest is, from my memory, was plus 300. Indiana at plus 300.
The next closest?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a 500 point difference. It's absolutely insane. It's otherworldly. Yeah, just crazy. But it just shows the expectation of this year's Buckeye team is, it really is now to your bus. It's really not. It's really 16-0 or bust, because this team could go down as the greatest team, period, to ever play college football, and that's a fact.
So should I place my first bet on Ohio State win? Because I'm not the bettor. I haven't used a betting app Like I be asking, you guys who know about this stuff, Funky Nevada, like, man, what is it? I don't, I know a little bit,
It's
but not
plus
like y'all.
200 B. It's
Yeah, I
plus
mean,
200, which is very those aren't good odds. I'll say that. I would say the plus 200 for Ohio State with the Natty. I'll put it in perspective. That's better or worse odds than or no or whatever. Plus 200 is the Dodgers were plus 250 going into the postseason,
oh,
and Ohio State is plus 200 going into our postseason. So Ohio State has better odds to win the national championship in football than the Dodgers had to win the World Series going into
wow.
their postseason. And then I feel like everyone thought the Dodgers was a sure deal to win the World Series. Obviously, we hindsight is they won it and it was really close and probably should have lost it. But going into those series, no one thought any real team stood a chance against them. So and people think Ohio State has a better chance than that. So plus 200 is ridiculous odds. And I mean the second closest team I believe is plus 500 for
Yeah. So I'm gonna keep my eyes on
plus.
that. I don't
So it's
know
like ridiculous.
I don't know
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
what would change it from week to week. I guess how teams are playing injuries, but I'm gonna keep my eyes on that because that's amazing, bro. But real quick, so I wanted you to go a little more into recruiting, but I wanted to circle back to Edric Houston real quick about his journey this year. He definitely has had a tough year. Remember, he started off injured in fall camp. Remember? He got
Hmm.
dinged up. So that wasn't the ideal start. And then of course, he just he was I don't want to say immature. I mean, yeah, kids are immature. There's an immaturity there for all the young players. But he just had to learn a lot of things on and off the field. And the thing is, though, Ryan Day always talks about how his smile lights up the room. Edric Houston is a funny dude. He's a big personality. During the playoffs last year, he's interviewing. I mean, like he's one of those like fun dudes. But even like Tyleik Williams is similar. He had to learn some things on and off the field and really shift gears into maturity. And when he did, and also just physical, being able to, uh, you know, last reps wise and shape, just all of the stuff that you need to do. Edric Houston is starting to come on, and it's exciting because he's a stud. And so with him coming on right now, it's just perfect timing. But I just wanted to say that. But real quick, Funky, you had a write up earlier, and Funky, like I said, Funky, Dev, Bill Green, like Scoop has been killing it with the recruiting, absolutely killing it from intel to giving you a clue of, hey, this is what's coming. We can tell you what we can tell you, but then also the write ups, keeping on the BuckeyeScoop.com board because it's not just hey on the podcast. Here's what's coming. That's great, but also behind the scenes write ups. Like a lot of this stuff you'll see on the scoop board weeks before it happens, so you can refer back to the actual thread where Funky's like, "Hey, this guy, expect this guy." 3 weeks later, he pops. So they do a great job. But I got Funky on here, man. You did a write up earlier about Ryan Day. Now you mentioned this a little bit from the press conference, but did you want to go a little more into your post, and then
Yeah,
we can dive into super chats?
yeah, I totally can. And the main points so Ryan Day was asked on Tuesday a lot about recruiting because on a week where we're 31-point favorites versus UCLA at home, not a lot of people are going to be really asking about the game and more focused
Right.
on 2026 ending this recruiting class as it's the countdown starts now for National Signing Day for football. And the main important parts that Ryan Day has said and has continued the press that we also told you guys about months ago. So none of this should be new news. Any listeners of the show that have been listening for a while, but Ohio State, I'm going to quote Ryan Day, but obviously try to whatever. I'm paraphrasing. He said, "We're investing a lot in these kids. We're putting a lot of money in these kids, so
Yeah.
we better be right. What we better be right." Devin brought this up a lot, so I see Devin in the chat. He knows this, and he said, "What's the one way where you could be the surest about a player to make sure that you're giving yourself the best opportunity to get your best return on investment? Watch their senior year film."
Yes.
So that's what Ohio State's been doing. They've been doing that with recruits. They've been doing that with commits. They've been doing that with people not even on their board. Ryan Day, Legend Bay, wasn't even on Ohio State's like big board until recently, and he went from their big board to their commit list to a top target really quickly. Same with Jay Timmons. I mean, Jay Timmons, like respectfully, his junior year film was kind of average. That's just the truth. His junior year film was not as good as he didn't even earn an offer from Ohio State after his junior year. It took his senior year film where he became absolute superstar, an absolute superstar, freak of nature, 5-star type talent. And Ohio State jumped on it with an eval, jumped on it, gave him an offer, and went all in on him and earned his commitment, flipped him from Florida State, the number 1 commit in Florida State's class, and flipped him to the Buckeyes. I mean, that's not easy to do, but it's a very smart and mature way to handle this new NIL era where you're investing a lot of money into young kids who you really don't know. I mean, you see it all the time out here at Ohio State, all the freaking time. You see 3 stars pop off and become 5 stars. Arvell Reese was a 3-star that literally no one wanted. Literally no one wanted this kid. We missed out on some 5-star linebacker and had to settle for Arvell Reese from Arvell Reese from Glenville, right? He's a Glenville kid, right?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Arvell Reese from Glenville. And Arvell earned that offer, got his opportunity to play, and he could literally be the first pick in the NFL draft. Yeah. So we really have to really watch as much film as we possibly can on kids that we're giving these, pretty big money to and big commitments and roster spots. And we got to make sure that they could almost play this year, because as we said, we're going to be in the national championship, which means we're not going to be able to effectively use the portal as much as we'd want to. And that's just a fact. And that's kind of you can be either scared about that, or you could try to get freshmen that could play year one and make impacts. And that's what Ohio State's trying to do. And that's what we're continuing to do. And that's why the momentum's not going to stop. Ohio State wants a big class. So this is really not a numbers game at this point for most positions. We're going to be going after that cornerback from Florida, who you guys did a show about yesterday. Obviously, a lot of positivity around that recruitment right now. We're going to keep going after Drake Quinn, the big defensive end talent from Buford, Georgia. And then we're also going to, we did some evaluations from the linebacker from Mill Creek, the Wake Forest commit. We're going to keep pursuing him. The Indiana linebacker commit, we're going to keep pursuing him until signing day, and we're going to keep evaluating players. If we miss out on them, I know we still have a lot of evals to do, especially we're going to have some cornerback evaluations to continue doing. We're keeping an eye on some defensive ends. The defensive end currently committed to North Carolina from Texas that Devin has brought up a few times. And it's just going to be really interesting. But this class is special in 2026. And we can go through it. I've gone through it with Devin before, and maybe you. I don't really remember, but I don't maybe we've done this before already, but I'm going to do it again. Mm-hmm. Think about how many 5 stars we have in this class. Like kids that can actually make a day 1 impact and no one would be shocked. I mean, Sam Greer is a stud 5-star. Kahari Wilder, stud 5-star. Blaine Bradford, stud 5-star. Jay Timmons is the number 27 ranked player in the class. That's a 5-star. And then you got who am I missing? Am I missing?
I'm thinking who else is a 5, at least on one site.
Maybe
one more.
I feel like I was missing one more too. I'm not sure why. Or Chris Henry Jr.
There it is.
Chris Henry Jr. Like freak 5-star, and that's a wide receiver, that's defensive end, that's an offensive tackle, that's a cornerback, and that's a safety. You can talk about balance throughout a class, and you have a guy like Sincere Johnson in that linebacker room. I mean, those are guys that could make day 1 impacts from a developmental standpoint, from a physical standpoint, and I mean, it's not over either. I really do think that there could be some bigger booms coming that are even hard to fathom right now, going really, really close to signing day and even beyond that. So it'll be very interesting to see how Ohio State finishes this class, but the momentum's real, and Ryan Day is doing, absolute fabulous job. I mean, he's blessed that we keep winning and we're the hottest brand in football, and we have all this, and we have the 3 players for National Player of the Year. We're only college with 3 players. We have 2 for defensive player of the year. I think we're tied with Texas Tech for that. We
Yeah.
have 2 for linebacker of the year. We have the quarterback of the year. We have the 2 in the Blicknikoff. I mean, it's just insane.
Filthy. Yep. Again, enjoy it. We're rounding out the season, the regular season, and so enjoy it, y'all. I'm gonna keep telling y'all that because we're gonna blink and the season's over. So enjoy this run. A lot of great things coming up. Now, with that said, Funky, this is a good segue to Mike Green's super chat. Talking about recruiting. Let's jump into it. Mike Green, what's up, good brother? $4.99. Thanks for the $4.99. How do you guys feel about the O-line troubles? Tyler Bowen is giving me Kerry Combs vibes. Great recruiter, but the O-line is on their back foot versus one-on-one. Okay, interesting. Not necessarily recruiting as I thought, because I kind of saw the recruiter. But let me address that. All right, Mike. For me, I think it's too early to declare that. I can't come alongside with that yet. I need to see more. I need to see how things shake out down the stretch. And so, because I've seen a lot of good things about this offensive line, but there's also been the nagging right guard situation. To me, that's the consistent issue we've had has been right guard. Pass pro overall has been really good. Remember last week we had several new guys out there in the first quarter playing. Your Ian Moores, your Van Sickles, and there was a little bit of leaky pass pro in our scrimmage. So I think it's a little too early for that, bro. For me to say, that he is giving you Kerry Combs vibe as far as your comparison. But I want you to what you think, Funky. Do you agree with that now, or do you think it's a little too early to kind of declare that?
I mean, it's 9 games in, so I feel like that's undoubtedly way too early to say that, especially because the offensive line's been fine. They've been really good for the majority of the year. They had a little bit of rough time versus Wisconsin, but guess what? A lot of offensive lines are having a little bit of rough time with Wisconsin's D line. Just because they're a really bad team, besides for that, doesn't mean that they don't.
Yes.
They have a good front, and you could watch their other games, and you could see that. I mean, Michigan had troubles on their offensive line versus Wisconsin. I mean, who else did they play? Wisconsin gave a lot of teams trouble up on their front, and there's multiple teams that were Washington had trouble. I mean, they beat Washington like 10-13 too. So it's like Wisconsin's D line Bama had trouble running the ball versus Wisconsin.
Oregon, didn't they give Oregon some problems too?
Yeah, they gave Oregon some problems too. That's what it was. It was Oregon. It was Oregon, Michigan, Alabama. So I mean, they gave a lot of people problems, and obviously there's been some hiccups, but also the offensive line is going to look really bad when the other team kind of knows what we're playing. Knows what we're doing. So it's very predictable, and I have a feeling that. You remember last year for the Michigan game how bad the offensive line looked? Then all of a sudden in the playoffs, the offensive line looked really amazing and great. Do you really think the offensive line made that much improvement in the 2 or the 3 weeks after? Or do you think it's the game plan and the scheme?
It absolutely was the game plan and the scheme.
Yeah, it's the game plan and the scheme. So I have a feeling when the game plan and the scheme get a little better and a little less predictable, then I feel like the offensive line will look like very, very elite. But overall, I still think they look fine. They're definitely not a liability. I'll tell you that. So So I think it's a little bit an overreaction, but whatever. There's as Ohio State fans, we always have that standard of greatness. Right. So I appreciate the talking about it because it's not a horrible question, but I just think it's a little too early to really say it.
Yeah, no, I get you. We definitely got a standard. And I mean, we've seen some bad O lines, like to compare it to. We've had some O line like, man, this is not good. And so this line is fine. It's been solid overall with some issues that need to be nipped in the bud, and probably more personnel and scheme. Because like I said, in the Purdue game, like we ran counter very relatively well compared to some other things. But again, when you watch the breakdowns on film, it's Tegra or Hensman had some breakdowns. Like it's just one guy not getting his block and the whole play's blown up. That stuff needs to be tightened up, and I believe it will. But anyway, so yeah. Let's get to the next one. It's Mike Green again. Thanks for the 199. Teams are mixing up the fronts. It's hurting us. Yeah, I mean, teams are going to mix up the fronts. That shouldn't be an issue. We mix up our fronts defensively against offenses. I mean, that's just what it is. We have to be able to deal with it and as a unit respond and work together and adjust. And so that's a part of what they're working on, trying to get this O-line consistent. I think it's a good O-line with some inconsistencies that's holding them back from being a great O-line. And so that's my answer to that. Funky, what you got?
Yeah, I mean,
you there, brother?
some miscues that just
you
could equate that to a few things, or just hello. Oh
you
yeah,
broke up
you
for
could equate that. I was saying, again, I agreed with you, and it's. I think the offensive line is. I mean, yeah. It's. I wouldn't say it's a extremely good offensive line or like some crazy insane offensive line, but I think we've been very solid. And again, we'll see in the playoffs really, because so far they've been fine. Obviously, they've been struggling a little bit recently though. So, but who knows why that is? Maybe it's because their strength training is at their all-time peak right now, and they're just going to taper it down from here and get fresher and fresher. Or who knows really what's the reason? Or maybe. Well, yeah, or maybe it's the play calling's gone a little too predictable and teams are able to jump on it, stack the boxes a little more. Or maybe it's the offensive line just struggling a little bit. But if you're going to struggle, this is a good time to struggle if you click back into it for these next, couple weeks leading up to the game and onwards.
Yeah, and I think, and Ryan Day, he knows. Again, last year is so valuable for this team because last year was not just all glory. We had some challenges, and we had challenges on O-line. We had challenges with injuries and just lack of execution, and guys were able to adjust to that. So hold on real quick. All right, Funky.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Now you're good. I was just basically saying last year is valuable to go off of because it wasn't just glory. It wasn't just all glory. We had issues on the O-line, injury-wise, execution-wise. I mean, there were things that we had to figure out. And so pulling from that, knowing like, hey, we need to get this done and we are going to get this done. Like we have a reference point to say we've done this before. I don't think it's bad as last year. But the point is that it's valuable to be able to pull from last year to continue to make sure we get this right. So Funky, did you have a response to that?
No, I think you said everything I want to say. I'm not smart enough at football to know exactly how to answer that as better than you did. So I think your answer was proper.
All good. All right. Let's see. We got Perry Ellison. Thanks for the 199. Any chance the D-line cage/spy scheme flips versus the team up north? So it's funny you mentioned that because even in the helping technician defensive nugget, he kind of hits on that. So basically, we mentioned earlier, everyone knows, even the people who aren't that smart at football, in the media, in the beat, they knew this was a scrimmage. Like it was like, it's a scrimmage. We were trying things like Petty John out there early. So basically the intel is don't look at without me going into too much detail, don't get caught up in the game plan for Purdue, which was a scrimmage and rolling guys out there, and understand that Arvell Reese, our greatest weapon when it comes to attacking the quarterback. And when I say attacking the quarterback, I don't mean just blitzing him. I mean having the quarterback in the offense on their heels, not knowing what's going to happen. You don't know where Reese is going to come from. He's lined up on the edge. He's lined up in the middle over the nose tackle. He's lined up, at the typical linebacker position and blitzing. He's dropping back in coverage. He's coffee house blitzing or stunting. You know what I'm saying? So yes, against the team up north, Arvell Reese will be fully activated to do whatever spy, whatever it is to make sure Underwood doesn't sneak out the back door because he's not going to have anybody to throw to down the field. And so, yes, that's a long-winded answer to say, yes, it will absolutely flip. Funky.
Yeah, and it's also when people bring up cage rushing, I think immediately Jim Knowles. And this defensive line scheme is just so different than Jim Knowles that just so much better. So maybe we are doing a little bit of cage rushing, and we're definitely are doing a little bit of spying, but it's looks way better than it did last year, and I'll tell you that. So for whatever reason that is, how we can get more production out of Caden Curry and Kenyatta Jackson than we did Jack Sawyer and JTT, who are making impacts on NFL teams right now, is beyond me, and I don't understand that. But the add on to what you're saying, Arvell Reese is definitely going to be activated versus Michigan, and it's a funny thing. If there's one person on planet Earth who wants to beat Michigan more than Ryan Day, it's arguably Matt Patricia. I mean, Matt Patricia probably hates that city of Detroit, probably hates Michigan more than just about anybody. No, seriously, he probably does.
Good point.
You think he wants to lose to them, but he knows who they cheer for. He's not an idiot. He knows when he goes back up to Detroit what he's going to think about. Like, he's a human like we are. So, yeah. So don't think he doesn't have a lot of. I mean, we know they're game planning for that game, and we know that they're approaching it differently than they've had in years past. It's just been very evident from the HT Nuggets. It's been evident from Brian Day's just press conference from his aura. So there's definitely going to be some things that Michigan sees that we've shown. We've probably shown it throughout the year, but they're going to get our best game plan possible, and then Ohio State's going to be, and they're going to be ready to go. They're going to be ready to go, and I'm very excited to see what they have defensively and offensively versus that team up north.
Yeah, real quick. I've told y'all before, I'm beyond excited about that game. And I'm more excited about the defense against their offense than I am our offense against their defense. Not because I'm not excited about the offense, but Matt Patricia, we've all watched Michigan all year. We've seen their weaknesses. We've seen Underwood is obviously very limited. I wish Justice Haynes was playing because they're going to, they're already pulling out the excuses. And so we saw what USC did. We saw what Oklahoma did defensively. So has Patricia. Our defense is better than any of those defenses. And I cannot wait to see what we do defensively against them. I just can't wait. So anyway, we can go ahead and move on. Phoenix Blaze, thanks for the $4.99. What up, B-Mo and Funky? Love the content. Going to my first game in the shoe. Looking forward to the experience. OH, Funky?
IO.
Yeah, bro, this is a great first game. It's because you're going to a night game. A night game in a shoe is amazing. It's incredible. And it's probably even more so amazing this year with all the changes, all the updates, just everything. So congrats on that, man. That's amazing. Make sure you have fun, take pictures, video. When you get back, tell us, next week, tell us how it was. You know what I'm saying? But I'm excited for you, bro. Like, I'm low-key tempted to go. I'm probably not going to end up going because I just feel like sitting back and just watching the game at the crib. But just for the atmosphere, man, it's going to be dope. So, yeah, Funky. Let him know, man. He's
that'll be fun. He's in for it, and there's not. And usually, I'll be like, 31-point favorites. Probably won't be too loud of a crowd. But we play Nico. I'm gonna leave. So if anyone can get a crowd riled up, it's gonna be Nico. So I can definitely see that game being definitely rowdy for the first quarter. People are definitely gonna be fired up. It's UCLA too. I mean, they could bring a crowd for sure, or bring people there. People know UCLA. People want to beat UCLA. I mean, last time we played UCLA, they beat us, and they ruined a national championship season for us, if I remember correctly. 2006, 2000, one of the early 2000s. So I mean, they played a Jim Tressel team and they beat us. So we got to get our revenge for that team 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think you might be talking about USC, ain't you? I
No,
don't think we
it's
play.
I'm definitely talking about UCLA. They
Huh, with Tressel? Okay, maybe
yeah.
you are. I got to go back and look at that because now I'm like, hold on, UCLA ruin. Yeah, I'm gonna go check that out. But either way, to Funky's point, it's not. This is not the Citadel we're playing at night on Big Ten. I mean, this is UCLA. You know, they have a brand. Nico was in here last year. You know, with getting his helmet cracked with Tennessee. You know, I think there's going to be some juice in this game, especially with it being a night game. So yeah, bro, this is a great game. You know, as far as like ticket prices, it's not like a Texas price. It's night. It's still a good brand. It's Nico. Yeah, bro. I think this is a great game to go to. So
It was
yeah,
2001.
01. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that was his first year. That was Trestle's first year. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's going way back. Did we that's
13
right.
to 6.
We went up to Ann Arbor and beat Scum for the first year that year. But that's right. Okay. Yep. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a minute ago. All right, cool. We got Mark from Dub C. Thanks for the 499s. Thanks for being a Scoop Ultra member. I remember Rainey, the O-line, maybe a typo, last year at this time, not where. I think he's saying he remembered,
Yeah.
the O-line was having some issues and he's not worried. Exactly. But that's my point, is that to me, I know last year is not this year, but my thinking is it's easier for me to have faith in an O-line situation that's better than last year's before the run with the injuries and all the inconsistencies. That was fixed. So it's just like my confidence is saying we're going to be just fine, because it's like if we was able to do that, then we should be able to win in spite of our so-called issues we have now. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
kind of my thinking. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And remember last year we had Zen McClough for Zen, but he couldn't even block on the tackle for
Yeah.
Mikowski. He couldn't even block, and then like a week later, Seth went down and was just like, "What the heck are we gonna do?" I mean, that offensive line had troubles then, so that was what we would call a bad offensive line play. So right now, I feel blessed with what we have, and you're totally right. I can see the game plan getting better, which is making the offensive line look better throughout the year. In Austin, our tackles are still playing great. Ian Moore played an amazing game, and Austin Sierrevelt had 0 pressures allowed again last week. So they're playing out of their mind, and Carson Hinsman's playing at a Remington Award winner pace. So kudos to all of them.
Yeah, for sure. And my bad, Mark. I see you sent another super chat to correct your typo. I see it. Yeah, you weren't sweating the O-line. I got you. Yep. I agree. I think we're going to be just fine. But again, like Nevada has been saying, you don't have to have a dominant, elite, number one, best O-line in the country to win a natty, especially with the weapons and talent we have from a passing standpoint. LSU 2019 has been the reference point with Burrow and those receivers, Chase, Jefferson. You know the drill. But just saying, do we want to be more consistent? Yes, we believe we're going to do that. But it's just a reminder, if we're not popping off 250 rushing yards every game, that's not saying that we can't win if we don't do that, especially with this passing offense when Julian's saying being an absolute surgeon out there. So, yeah. Mickey, what's up? I know it's been a minute. But always great to see you. Thanks for the 1999. And I see you just put the applause in. Thank you. Thank you for always supporting and showing love. Even when we don't see you on here, we know you holding it down out there. And so anything to that, Funky?
Thank you, Mickey. Appreciate you. And yeah, good to see you back in the chat. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, yeah, man. Again, midweek coming up on a big weekend recruiting wise, and just another opportunity to see Buckeye football, y'all. And just to see college football in general and see who loses, what happens, the narratives, the haters coming up with new creative ways to hate on us, all that stuff. It's just fun. Enjoy it. I know I am, Funky. Any last words before we hop off?
Yep. We have a chance to go 10-0 and win 10 plus games for the 20th time out of 21 years. So we have a chance to do something special. We also have a chance if we win the next 2 games to have a 14th straight season with 2 or less losses, which is the first time that's happened since the ties are an all-time record with Florida State from 1986 to 2000, which is just an absolutely insane accomplishment that Ohio State can accomplish if we beat UCLA and Rutgers this next 2 weeks. And on top of that, we also had to play an extended playoffs, a conference championship game, and a 12th regular season game. So this is a record that possibly can never be broken ever again, and we can also extend on it next year. So it's absolutely something that we should appreciate, and it's a testament to Urban Meyer, Ryan Day, and even Jim Tressel. So go Bucks, and that's all I have to say about that.
That's great. That's a great way to end it. And Mike Green, I saw your comment about just playing devil's advocate. Absolutely, bro. Great comment. Love y'all, man. All of y'all do a great job in the chat. Y'all help to really make this show great. And so appreciate y'all, man. And until then, next time we will holler at you. Go Bucks and peace.
Peace.